We are back, coming at you live at some point in time from the Coco Show studios.
We're not supposed to say where we are, David.
Whatever.
Somewhere near there.
Yeah.
In northern of Seattle.
Yeah. Good luck finding me, bitch. Anyway, this is part 2 of an episode with the delicious, wonderful Matthew Gem. And we're going to just kick right back in with another question. And Matthew, what is your healthiest coping mechanism?
I would love to say weed.
Great.
I think so.
Let's
you
talk
know,
about
I
that,
think that
yeah.
like, so yeah, let's talk about that.
Let's
talk about weed, damn
'Cause
it.
Let's be real. Okay, so to kind of go back to what we were talking about on last episode, being sober has its inherent, perks. It works for you, of course, but it also can leave you a little bit disconnected at times, and it can also sometimes come off, if you don't like navigate it right, it can also sometimes come off a little bit pretentious.
Oh, totally.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's hard because I feel like you'll be like, oh yeah, I'm not drinking, and then they'll be like, why? And you'll be like, oh well, I just feel really good. Like it makes me feel much better, and it's hard to almost say that without sounding like a health nut or like having,
Or I'm like, oh, I don't want to hang over tomorrow, and then it can be
especially when we're in spaces where we're like encouraging others to drink.
Exactly. Or I'm
as
literally
a DJ, as a bartender.
Yes. Or I'm behind a bar, like encouraging someone to drink.
Yes.
Yeah. It can be just funny to like navigate sometimes. So I think that naturally, as a part of the human condition, we all have a vice. Whether it's something emotional, it's something like very personal to us, it's something physical, it's like something substance wise, we all have a vice. There's something. So I kind of like to think that weed is my vice, being like a healthy version of it, but also recognizing that, there are obvious, I'm smoking. So like,
Their health.
Yeah, I'm smoking. I'm not unrealistic about that. But
in what ways does weed help you in social situations?
I think that it just kind of like, well, there are times when I'm stoned and I'm like, oh, this isn't helpful. I'm just fucking baked right now, and I'm like, don't even know where to start. But there are other, you know what I mean? But there are other times where I'm like, I'm high right now, and I kind of like don't care.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in the best way, right? It's like I don't really care. So like I'm just gonna start bopping over here, or whatever it is. So
Enter me.
Beat to your own
Anywhere.
drum. Like
you just start beating your own drum. Yeah, it can be fun, and so it can also obviously like, the practice of smoking with people, it can be fun.
Sure.
I mean, like I'm gonna go smoke, and then you find other people who are like, oh cool, like let's go smoke.
It does give us an excuse to steal you from the bar.
Yeah. So. Oh yeah. It's like my one break.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say that's my vice.
I think there's a reason why they say like
or candy. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I literally
chocolate
have a problem.
Or Chewies.
Yeah, chocolate or chewy or both.
Chewies. I'm a Chewy. Sour, sweet.
Sweet.
Interesting.
Sour. Nice.
Yeah. Cool. Sweet, chewy. Oh man, candy's my vice.
How do you feel about Twizzlers, the ones you pull apart?
Twizzlers, I'm not a fan of.
Really?
That's like.
No. Like the pull apart ones. You know what I'm talking about?
Or the ones you bite.
The ones that you like.
Twizzlers. Yeah, I'm
pieces.
not a fan of Twizzlers. I'm a Red Vines girl.
Oh, okay.
Red Vines.
I am not.
Yeah.
It's okay to be wrong.
Where are my Red Vines fans?
Well, I can't do most licorice anymore because them bitches have wheat. For what?
What?
For what?
Wheat.
Why wheat? Eat the wheat.
Wow.
Wheat are you talking about?
I stole that from
that needs to be on a Coco Show.
Well,
merch. Can we take it?
We
No.
can't.
Damn
Phil
it.
hates gluten.
Eat the wheat.
Also, that man is divine to look at and listen to.
Shout out.
Phil, let's collab. Anyway, yeah. Why? Tell me why. Tell me why there's wheat in licorice.
I can't.
It's upsetting. It's offensive. I don't understand. Use cornstarch. Thank you.
Are you gluten free?
Yeah.
Okay. It's surprise once you go gluten free. I'm not that I would necessarily know firsthand, but like, yeah, I'm sure it's just ridiculous how limiting it is.
It's incredibly limiting and frustrating.
So we still haven't talked to Matthew at all about fashion.
We haven't, but I have one more question before we move on to fashion.
Hit me.
Tell me about a place in your mind or in real life that makes you feel safe.
So my home is always a safe space for me.
Like your current home where you live right now?
Anywhere I live.
Oh.
Home is where the heart is.
Yeah, I'm very much one of those people. I like to think that I'm like good at making a home, and like decorating it and designing it as well. I like to think I have good taste.
You do.
Thank you. So, my home is something that I get a lot of pride and joy out of like building each time and doing that. So it does become a really big part of that safe space for me. So that I would say, yeah, my home is always like my first safe space. It's like, when I get overstimulated or like when everyone's, going out for a night and I've like gone out and enjoyed what I can for the night, I'm like, my body tells me, okay, it's time to go home, so that it's definitely that. But in my mind, if I were to have like a mental safe space, I go to a recurring dream that I've had, or I should say that I've like insert myself into the setting of that dream, so to speak. But it is in just a big house. And I kind of go through the steps of the beginning of the dream. I walk up to the house. I see like this really big oak tree. I see a swing in the front. I walk in, and there's a room to the right that is pitch black, and there's a room to the left that's very bright. And then it's funny. I just stand there, and I just look at them, and there's something. I've had that dream since I was a kid.
Wow.
And different things happen in that dream at different times. But I often enter that house and just stand there. So sometimes like when I'm kind of stressed or when I'm like needing to center myself, I'll like kind of close my eyes and I'll walk up to that house and I'll look at all the things, and then I'll walk into the house and then I'll just kind of like look at the rooms.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And that, boys and girls, is meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess it is. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Look what years of therapy gets you.
Yeah. Right. It's like we all learn those things that help us, and that was kind of one of them, and I've just stuck with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took a class about the consciousness mind at UW actually. Allison Holman, I think, was the teacher. Anyway, I'm discrediting myself, but anyway, it was a super cool class, and I learned how to meditate in that class, and it was part of the curriculum. And the place I made was this, like, it would be like almost like a video game start where I would like zoom in and I would like be in the woods, and I would be in this like foresty, trees everywhere.
Nice.
Like tropical-ish.
Jungle.
Treehouse, dark oak.
Love.
Like dark wood.
Mm-hmm.
Empty. And it smells like lumber. And then I'm always just immediately there. Like I don't crawl up or anything. I'm just immediately there. Like I like fly in.
Yeah.
And then my brain immediately takes me to a place. I'm in the middle of the room. It's an empty room, and I'm just sweeping.
Wow.
And sometimes
I didn't expect you to say that.
I like just everything out, sweeping.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes I get to a point where I get to sit down and then like meditate.
Right. Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, that's where I would go. But then when we went to Cozumel for my 30th birthday, and it was like this little cove of the Caribbean Sea where it was super flat and super calm, and it's so fucking buoyant. Like that's the saltiest salt water. Relatable,
salty.
But I just remember looking around, and it's like 360, the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. I was like, this is my new happy place.
Yeah.
Cute.
copy paste.
Yeah. So, but it's crazy. Like if I really think about it hard enough, I can like feel the warmth of the water and like the softness of the sand. And it's so helpful.
Yeah.
Being
Yeah.
like,
Especially, when you can get to that like sensorial spot in, oof.
You guys
Healing.
would really like floating in the chamber.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah.
chamber thing.
I
Because
needed-
this is bringing me like I like zoned out for a bit while you were talking. Because like I was just thinking, because you guys were talking about like visualizing where you were. So I
Yeah.
like visualized being in the tank.
I thought you
And
were,
I was
yeah.
like,
is that your new spot, Dave?
I don't know. It was a pretty happy place. No, but I was thinking Secret Cove on Maui was like this place I
That's so cool.
like didn't stumble upon. I very intentionally went there, but it really was this little like cove, and you kind of had it to yourself. Like people would walk by and whatnot, but like when they weren't there, it was pretty insane. And then I remembered like coming home and someone like sent us like a calendar for some reason, and then I opened up the calendar and it just was like right there, and it was like I was literally sitting in the same spot, and it was
Wow,
fucking
that's
weird.
so cool.
Yeah, but
Isn't that a
I can
cool
see that. I think the image helped me be able
Yeah.
to like solidify just exactly what it looks like in my mind. But yes, I vividly remember that beach and
That
that
is so
cove,
cool.
and-
That's beautiful.
yeah.
I love that. So is that, do you meditate? Have you ever meditated?
Yeah. So I was gonna say when I was young, I was very into like states of consciousness, like alpha waves, beta waves, like conscious dreaming. Like
How young?
very young, and
Really?
like
How did you?
Hyperfixations as a youth.
Yeah.
I
How did you
fucking
find
love
out
you,
about
Dave.
that stuff as a kid?
I thought dreams were the coolest thing ever, and I used to have the weirdest dreams. Like as an adult, I've dreamed less.
Yeah.
But like as a kid, I was always having crazy dreams. I used to remember all of them and everything, and like, so for a while I would like write them down, and like you can get better at it. You have to like, practice.
Yeah.
It's like a muscle that you have to flex. This morning I had a fucking wild dream. I actually talked to DT and like bitched at him as to why I'm still mad about
Del Toro?
Donald Trump.
Oh.
Donald Trump made a fucking guest appearance in my dream last night, which I was
That's
like, fuck
fucking
you for
funny.
being here, okay?
Yeah. Like
But,
I have
like,
no fucking.
it was
peace.
oddly therapeutic, dude. I like screamed at him for things I was like genuinely upset about. And like it was healing.
Wow. Try it at home, everyone. Scream at him in your fucking dreams.
But yeah, when I was a little kid, I used to really try to fly all the time because the second
Yeah.
I knew if you're in a dream and you're flying, you are dreaming. And if you can tell yourself you're dreaming, you now have complete control over your environment.
Yeah.
And it's like you can completely create with your mind.
That's
And,
wild.
like I used to do that as a little kid.
Lucid dreaming, right?
Yeah, lucid dreaming. Yeah.
Yeah, I've
I'd
never
be
been
like,
able
this
to
is,
do it.
I'm gonna go do this, and then just
David's
like
a witch.
jump
So
and like
cool.
yeah, probably, and like yeah,
We've just,
like I used to love flying in dreams. It was just like I would just like look around and I'd be like, let's do it.
That's
And
been
then,
so
discovered time and time again. David's a witch. I think I'm a witch too.
yeah, fair.
You're probably a witch too.
Yeah. That's, family things.
Just a bunch of witches.
What stone are you wearing? Yeah.
This
what?
is
Crystal. Sorry.
oh shoot, what is it? Tiger's eye.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then this is an M. A lot of people think it is
Virgo?
Scorpio.
I
Symbol.
was like that Gemini,
yeah.
but isn't that
Typeface.
Scorpio?
Yeah.
Got it, Matt.
This is
Oh
a
my
typeface.
god.
I was thinking about that earlier and literally went, wait,
that changes
no,
everything.
that's an M.
Right. It's an M. Yeah.
It's
This is
not for
actually
you, I'm sorry.
I've had this on for 7 years.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
stunning.
I like forever jewelry. I love it.
Same.
I just want to collect more and more over the years.
I get so freaked out if I'm not wearing these
yeah,
two things.
it's so funny. I can like feel it when I'm not.
Yeah,
People
of
ask me all the
course.
time. They're like, "Do you feel that?" Because it's kind of like right on my trachea.
Mhm.
I'm like, no, I don't feel it at all. But I
feel it if it's not
But I
there.
feel it if it's
Yeah,
not there.
Of course.
I understand that completely. Okay, so we love jewelry, fashionista, gorgeous. Were you a fashionable child? Like, did you make risks as a youth or in the comfort
Yeah.
of your home?
So
you-
my mom, so we'll go back to baby. My mom was, she's always been really stylish. She has always loved clothing and style as well. She was very beautiful when she was young,
Would
and she
love to
kind of
see a
knew
picture
that.
of your mother.
She's really beautiful, like beautiful red hair, like like red, so beautiful.
Like colored? Or
No,
not? She's
natural.
a ginger.
Yeah, and like not like a light strawberry ginger. It was like, oh, it's so crazy. I look at it and I'm like, literally, people pay so much money for that. Anyway, yeah.
I
So
charge
she
them
like,
for it.
yeah, you would know, right? Yeah, I'll have to show you because her hair is so pretty. You'd
I
be
want
like,
to. I am dying to see a photo of your mother.
I'll show you on Instagram. I actually have a really cute one. Anyway, she always had a lot of style. So from when I was very young, some of the first things I can remember of my mom were in looks. She just always kind of had, yeah, she just always had it together. Or always had something to say with her style. So I think from a young kid, I always recognized that like it was something that you could put intention into and it was something that you could have fun with. So we kind of had fun with that together. She would always dress me in fun stuff.
Would you do matchy?
Sometimes, yeah. Yep. Sometimes we do matchy looks or like family looks or like
Family looks?
Yeah.
We would do that too.
yeah. So yeah, I think I've always been really into it. I wore, I would get in trouble with like certain people that were raising me or whatever, for wearing skirts, or like putting on my sister's little play heels or like wearing girls' clothes, and I would get in trouble.
Was your girl?
Yeah, that's my mom. Yeah, and that's natural hair.
Wow.
It's crazy, huh? Which is why
Icons only.
you see like a red undertone in my beard.
Love.
Yeah, so I've always been playing in clothing in one way or another. I think I kind of lost touch in like my teenage years, right? Because we all just are trying to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna like do whatever everybody else thinks is cool, and now I'm like totally just exploring everything and anything.
Especially, I think too, like for me, when it comes to like performance,
Yeah.
being a like catalyst for that creativity too.
Yeah.
I think like I wouldn't probably try on as much crazy shit if I didn't think I want to wear that during like a performance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
brings out like a different side. But you see so many artists like wearing clothes that like unless they were artists, they probably would have never thought to
Yeah.
put that on.
It starts, I think a lot of people start like, in production per se, a lot of people start with building a character, right? They're like, oh, I want to like, in a sense, play this character for the night. And then they put all those things on, or I help them put these things together and we get them up in this look, and then they see themselves in it and they realize that it's not a character. It's a facet of who they are. And it is just self-expression.
Shout out to Dustin, who told me that like when you perform, it's like an amplified version of yourself. So
Yeah.
it's like this still, it's honestly, it's because I was like, oh, I feel like sometimes if I'm not being that person, I'm not being authentic. And he's like, no, David, like you're being that is an authentic part of you. It's just an
Yeah.
amplified version of you.
Yeah, and I think it's also healthy for certain parts of you to show at certain times.
Yeah.
You can't show all of yourself at all times, so that's one of those things, those like deep isms or those deep like characters that we build ourselves to be, they do come out on stage or when we're like being highlighted.
Well,
Absolutely.
I think the first thing I thought of was like I always feel powerful in those situations. I always feel strong and like confident.
Totally.
And so it's like that's why it's like yeah, fuck yeah, I could rock that. Like yeah.
It's such a powerful place to be. It really is. And then those clothing, like to go along with those feelings, the clothing just like
amplifies
push you over the board.
everything. Yeah, for sure. Before I remembered that thing that I forgot back
Yes.
when because we
I
were
love
looking
when I
through
remember that thing.
Matthew's fucking Instagram and I
really?
saw you in a wrestling onesie and then I remembered
Singlet.
Colette
They're called
singlet,
singlets.
yes.
Yeah.
And then I remembered that was the thing. It was because Colette was bitching about wrestling.
Oh yeah.
She's like, it's a gay sport. When I
I'm not
went,
bitching about it being gay.
no. Sorry, you know
I
what I
like
mean.
that it's gay.
Yes, of course. Well, trust me, we all do. But when I went to EDC wearing a wrestling singlet,
Yes.
and it was so much fun. I loved wearing it. They're so fun.
They're
Just like I feel so playful and like
Yes.
it's weird.
It's like sexy in the right way.
Yes.
It's comfortable.
It definitely
It's-
highlighted the right parts of my body for sure. Like, and I didn't feel like I was like hanging out there for the world to see.
You know what?
Teenage,
Honestly, and
but-
I think even like thick bodies look really good in a wrestler sling too. Like bears or what I like thick
I
boys.
think
in
everyone
a,
looks good.
thick
in a
boys in a
wrestling
wrestling
movie, right?
sling. I'm like,
Let's go. So when I was walking around EDC, the number of fucking guys that came up to me and asked me where I wrestled, like,
oh my God, really?
oh my God, I can't. I wish I could remember exactly
funny.
what I said to this dude. He's like, oh, where'd you wrestle? Or he's like, oh, do you? No, he goes, do you wrestle? I go, no, but do you want to find out?
Yeah.
Like, and
You're like,
he
in bed.
just like the look of sheer terror on his face when
Oh
I
my
said
God.
it. He just was like, and then just like went the other direction, like by in the sea of 200,000 people, never see you again. But
That's the
dude.
fun you get to have at festivals too.
Right.
It's like, I guess this is a character too now.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for Supernova because I've started wearing main character era outfits.
Oh, for sure.
We want everybody
the
to be a main character at
Everybody's the main
Supernova.
character at Supernova.
Facts.
Literally, like you can live your entire fantasy simultaneously while everybody's living their full fantasy. It's
That's
amazing.
such a great way to
Yeah,
look at it.
Yeah.
That is absolutely how I feel.
Yeah.
And
It's so cool.
one of my favorite compliments I've ever received was at Supernova. This gal came up to me and was like, I'm just so obsessed with your energy and your aura, and I can just tell you're out here just by yourself vibing, and I love that for you, and we need more people like you in the world. And I was like, that is honestly the nicest thing I think anyone has ever said to me.
I love that. It's so empowering. See, that's what happens when you just like let yourself go.
Yeah.
And you just strip away all the bullshit of like what you're supposed to be doing in that room or like how people think you're taking up space, whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Like,
I look silly when I dance. I equate it to Phoebe running in that Friends episode.
oh,
that's me dancing.
oh, that's fantastic. And you know what? That's probably what pulled her over there because you were just being you. And she said, I fuck with that.
Yeah, exactly. I just
Because that's main character energy. Doesn't matter what you're actually doing. Are you doing it? And is it the most important thing in the room? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it is.
It is. Me Jesus punching, as Monica so elegantly puts it.
Jesus punching.
I know
was gonna-
exactly what you're talking about.
Yes, I do too. I was literally going to say, but I didn't want to like bring you down a notch. I was like, but sometimes you're going to punch people in the face. Like,
Yeah, well, that's it also
Oops.
intentional because I'm trying to make space for myself. I'm a little person on the dance floor.
Yeah.
Get the fuck away from me.
Yeah. You gotta dance like this.
Yeah, sometimes.
sometimes those people are your friends.
Well,
Hey,
yeah, well, if
And
you're
really
behind,
bumping 'em.
if you're behind me, I'm not gonna be throwing.
Oh, you're gonna
shoulders.
full booty bump.
Yeah, that's what
Like,
you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Yeah, fact.
Okay, so when did you start like expressing yourself through fashion?
So when I came to Seattle is when I really started to like explore with presentation of my clothing more. I always got up in looks. You know, I always kind of like had cute clothing, loved styling and all that. But I shouldn't say never. I rarely played with, how should I say it? I rarely removed gender from the equation and I applied my gender, you know, I'm a male, so I applied my gender to it. And it kind of became a construct is what I realized. I was like bored by fashion for a
Right.
while. You know, I was like, oh my God, like another
It's the
pair
same.
of pants. And
Exactly.
yeah,
you
you know,
yeah.
so I moved to Seattle and I saw how the queers were just so like free. They could, you know, you could just really do anything you wanted here. And I knew it immediately. I was like, oh, I'm getting I literally started buying dresses immediately. And so, yeah, I've just been able to like, just remove that from the equation and just have fun. So it's been about 3 or 4 years of finally being able to access all parts of fashion for myself too, not just like applying certain parts of fashion to certain people that I know, and that's how I have access to all of it, or that's how I have like a knowledge or experience with most all of it. But now I can just apply it all to me because I'm fabulous.
That's absolutely,
True.
absolutely true.
You know, I think that we can all think that way though. And I think that once we do, you know, obviously that's where the power is. It's removing that barrier.
Well, you're so right. Like you go into the men's section and it's like the same shirts every time. And it's just like, there's no new ideas over there.
I recognize that, you know, in the real fashion world, not just clothing world, but fashion world, things are changing.
Yeah.
But it takes a while to trickle down to things that are actually accessible to us every day, you know, and so I even have to like, it takes, as a stylist, it takes really hard work sometimes to get those things that feel like super amazing.
Why, like what you're talking about, how things trickle down from fashion to available to consumer.
Yeah.
You would think by now there would almost be this recognition though of like, excuse me, like a unisex section, like a third area of, but even then it's like, is that the solution? Like how, you know, it's just like, shouldn't we just like not put men's and women's on anything?
Yeah. That actually, that question is like huge in fashion right now. Some, you know, big fashion houses are doing collections that are not gendered at all. They just put whatever clothing on whoever it looks good on, you know, period.
Which is how it's supposed to go, in my humble opinion.
Right. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, I don't know. I think that there are certain things that are like a brassiere, like a bra, you know what I mean? Like, or, I mean, sports bras in certain cuts are like, you know, anybody can and should wear them, but there are certain things that play a role for a reason, you know? So like, I think certain people should have more access to certain things.
Yeah.
But also like we should be able to play with what we want to, you know what I mean? And sections can like really restrict that. Being told that you have to shop in the men's department, you know, it's like, well, all right, I guess I'm not getting those cute
crops that I wanted.
Yeah, I guess I don't get a cute crop or a cute like leggings or whatever it is, you know, whatever. But like as soon as you remove that for yourself,
at what level of the stomach does a crop become a female article of clothing? Like that's what I want.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, but actually I saw this the other day because there are those like 70s and 80s crops that are like right above a high, like a normal, I shouldn't say high waisted, but like a normal waisted pant. And you saw them a lot in like the 70s and 80s or where it's kind of like a semi crop.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. And men used to wear them all the time.
Below the belly button. Yeah, and it's like.
Then also disco.
What happened to
disco boots? Are you fucking since when did that? They're like, well, this is for girls.
Disco was just as male as it was female, was it not?
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. Those boots were for
where
everybody.
did all of that like? Well, I'll tell you where it went. Certain groups tried to suppress us.
Yeah, but the punk movement really changed a lot for like what disco was doing at the time. Disco was doing a lot socially. And the punk movement.
Ronald Reagan also ruined almost everything.
For sure.
Touche.
Yeah, but I mean that it's sometimes so funny how like when you put on an outfit or when you like dress up in something that's not your normal wardrobe, it's like such a simple thing and it just like clicks and you're like, wow, you know, I have this feeling right now. And I just feel so fabulous and so confident. And some people think that has to go away when the clothing comes off. But once you start to explore and like remove that barrier time after time with, you know, getting dressed, seeing yourself, that euphoric feeling that we get, the wall starts to come down permanently. And then you start to really see the progress behind it and what that really means, that like all barriers can come down, not just like how I'm presenting myself, but like how I let people in past this is like, that can be real too. Oh, I love you. I know we've seen each other in that way so many different times. Yeah. So there's a lot of power. And
Beautiful.
the space that we have got to share at Supernova is a really safe space for that.
Yes.
So I think we're really lucky to be able to do it in a space like that with people that we really love and that really see that journey and are on that journey as well, in such a safe space. Yeah.
Amazing.
It's family.
It is. Family.
You guys are so cute, by the way. That was a beautiful moment. I got to
Coco and
witness.
me. Oh my gosh. We are literally family immediately.
Yeah,
It was wild.
immediately, yes.
It was wild.
Immediately, yes. Can you sew?
I can't. No.
Really?
Yeah. That's one of those. That's actually how styling came to be. I never got a chance to learn how to sew. I never also the attention span kind of got in the way. I struggle.
Relatable.
Yeah, I struggle sitting still for a long time working on tedious things. So I found that looking at completed pieces that people had created and had intention for and had a story for, I could tap into that story and I could help them tell that story. So that's kind of what styling means to me. It's a way to read a story and tell it my own way.
I love that.
Yeah.
Where do you draw inspiration then from other people's?
Yeah. I think my inspiration is kind of constantly evolving. I would say first and foremost, my inspiration comes from how I'm feeling, or what I'm experiencing. I think with all of us, I think we can all relate to that. What's important to us is what's relevant right now. So I think that anything that's happening kind of in the moment is inspiring me. But in the larger scheme of things, I think the idea of sex appeal without sexual objectification is the goal that I'm kind of always going for. I have a very and maybe that's more so for my personal aesthetic, but I think it really does apply to how I style people as well. Everything that I do is meant to be, because let's be honest, we're creating a fantasy, right?
Yeah.
We're building a fantasy. And in my fantasy, things want to be sexy. I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's that blend between being sexy and tapping into sexual energy with control and intention and safety.
Well said.
So well said.
Yeah.
Yes, safety.
But kind of toying that line. Mugler has always done that so well. Yeah, I have a lot of inspiration, but right now, Mugler is a big inspiration. Dion Lee is a big inspiration. I'm not even going to go into my inspiration. There's too many, but a lot.
I love that. Do you find expressing yourself through fashion is as healing for your inner child/teen as I do?
Yes. Oh my God, yes. There's a picture on my Instagram of me and my sister's little play heels. And I remember that day. And I remember something that happened. I just remember my dad telling me to take them off, and I didn't want to. I just felt it's so happy in them and just clomping around in them. It was just hearing that sound because I remember that's to me that's how my mom sounded.
Yeah.
Heels. And honestly, my dad too, his work boots, I remember he used to carry me down the steps anyway. But that sound, it was all so sensorial for me, and it was also positive for me. So yeah, it's funny when I'm there are times when I'm up in a little dress or I'm in a really sexy look or I'm presenting femme or whatever it is. I'll have a little moment where I'm oh, baby Matthew would love this. He would look at older me and be like, what?
Yeah.
That's possible?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes.
I hope other people do that too. I think that's such both when they see me and when they dress up.
Yeah.
I
started living like that a couple years ago. I literally go, would younger you die over this?
Yeah.
If the answer is absolutely
Yeah.
yes, leave the house.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yes.
dude,
Yes.
Shout out to did I show you the outfit I'm getting for April 29th
I don't think
at
so.
Supernova, the
Oh, yeah.
Galaxy Pride event?
Oh, that's gonna be
It's
fun.
Dude, that is an homage to like baby. I feel like baby David
Aw.
would love that outfit. Like he'd be like, I feel like a Superman in this thing.
Yes.
Did I show you?
No, I haven't
okay,
seen it
then
yet.
No, it
we're
was
gonna keep
on-
it a surprise. But
It was on the thread with Monday.
it's like the perfect like
It's hot.
in
It's
my
hot.
head. It's like this thing that Orion was like conceived of. Like
That's
'cause
so
it's
cool.
The right color and everything.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Like shout out to 18-year-old Dave. He
Don't you
fucking
love when you
that.
can find that piece that like you see yourself in?
It's so silly.
And not just like
But-
see yourself in like, oh my gosh, that would look cute on me. It's like, oh my gosh, like that's speaking to me on a different level.
Yeah.
What is
Why?
happening
Who?
here?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's going
Who
on?
knows? But
It's
love
really
that.
cool.
yeah, it's like because it's like we come up with these ideas in our heads of
Yeah.
like this image or spirit that we're trying to emulate.
Yeah. Or
And
that
then
character. that we've
character.
taken
Thank
on.
you.
Yeah.
That was the word.
Yeah.
Yes. And like when you see that, it just you're like, that's it. It's the embodiment
Yeah.
of that.
It's ultimate euphoria.
Yeah. I don't
Yes.
know what to actually I did get something for my face to tie the whole piece together because otherwise I was like, I'm gonna be wearing this thing and then I'm gonna have like just my normal head, which is fine. But and I'll probably take the glasses off. But I'm hoping that really locks it all in.
The
Yeah.
glasses
Oh, yeah.
will
Yeah.
create.
Like when I did
Finish the
the disco
ensemble.
night and DJ Mia Maya let me borrow those glasses.
David.
I
David,
reached a new level
You-
of disco daddy. Like I
You don't understand. I remember looking at you with those on. I was like, this bitch is fucking so motherfucking hot
I
and
felt so
thriving
hot.
right now.
Yeah.
We need to go to Amazon and get you some then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah, I can't do
David.
another disco show. Oh, wait. I should just wear those instead of the other ones. I think that would honestly could work. We'll see. We'll bring both.
You got a stylist
must
here.
Find.
We'll work it out.
Must find.
you got two.
Period. Yeah, the Coco Show stylist right here.
Yeah. Okay. So for our dear listeners, can you just explain a little bit about Beauty Boys and how the org started?
Yeah. Beauty Boys it's a lot of things. It's really cool. Beauty Boys started as a group of queers who were just throwing house parties before I even got to Seattle. They all lived in the same complex, and they used to do a yearly Halloween party. And I got here in 2017. I met Caleb. It was around the time he was like, there are so many people attending this party. We're going to get a venue for it. And just, throw it at a building because we can't do it here in our apartment anymore. I showed up for the very first time to that one, and I definitely recognized the potential that was there. They recognized the potential that was there too. It was their first time in a real space actually producing for a community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was pivotal for them. And it was pivotal for me too. I came in at just the right time. I was brand new to the community, but also really like excited about getting involved in the community. So we all just fed off of that event. We tried it again for New Year's that year, and we realized that it wasn't just a good idea once, that this was something that we could like make a difference with. So Caleb and Wesley, the people who were throwing the original parties, kind of organized everything, a little team, and we started throwing productions, and we started working with drag queens, and we started working with local venues and things to create relationships and create an economy for drag and for queer entertainment and for production. So yeah, we just started climbing the ladder. We worked with more and more people locally. We have, got some really cool opportunities over the years. We've got to work with some drag race queens, film some music videos for people. We have got to do some casting opportunities. We do a whole lot now. I mean, essentially what we do now is we build a family of queer creatives, and then we use those queer creatives skills and the team that we've built to create space for artists. So that can look like events, it can look like video, it can look like consultation, it can look like staffing even. We just, as individuals in our collective, we all have so many different varied skills, and we just try and apply that to our community as best as possible and uplift as many people along the way. And now here we are partnering. Our home venue is Supernova. We've been there 2 years now, and
fuck yeah,
we've had a great relationship with them. We've been able to do a lot, learn a lot, and we hope to just keep climbing the ladder. And I don't know, there's so many potential avenues for Beauty Boys. I think it's a really awesome thing, and the more people we get involved, the more potential we have to expand on those opportunities for people.
I would have never thought of staffing, but when you said it, I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like queer staffing.
Yeah, totally.
Like
I mean, we have what we've done is essentially build relationships with artists in the community or people in the community, so a lot of people come to us to bridge the gap as well. They're like, hey, this was last year, an example, the ballroom community came to us and said, hey, we have a ball that we need security for. Do you know anyone who, do you know people who would be able to help? And we sent them 3 security officers for one of the first mainstream balls here, so we are here to build the community in a sustainable way, not just a fabulous, fun way that like you can spend money on, which of course we want. That generates opportunity, but yeah, we're really about like empowering people, teaching people, honing them in on their own skills, and climbing the ladder with everyone.
Incredible.
Yeah,
incredible. We love you, Beauty Boys.
That we do.
We're just a big old queer old family.
We love it.
Right?
All right. I'm going to ask you one last question, then we're going to wrap up. But tell me about a time you were really proud of yourself.
I make it a point to practice gratitude. And I think for me, gratitude leads to pride, because I like to think I don't have an unhealthy relationship with pride. Obviously, like I've said, we all experience the human condition, so pride takes over. But I think that through gratitude, we can experience a healthy side of pride. So I try to practice that kind of often, you know what I mean? And I think that helps with that general sense of peace that I'm after, and that I like to think that I largely have. But I think that some like actual win moments for me lately have been getting into that apartment. For me, that was really, it's a big adult thing for me. It's like my first real big boy apartment. So it feels really accomplishing. I'm bartending now in a more sustainable way. I've always been in the service industry, and I've been like a server and bartender at restaurants. But it's kind of different. It's like a different ball game. So I'm bartending in a pretty busy venue now, and it's making me feel busy in a different way than I felt before. So that's really cool and rewarding in a new way. Beauty Boys we have seen a lot of support. We've seen a lot of growth in our team. We've seen a lot of opportunity come our way. I'm really proud of the work that we get to do with that nonprofit. It's a lifestyle. It's not just a job. I tell people all the time, I'm not just like a director as a job. It's what we do. It's who we are. We make a difference in queer people's lives. So that is extremely fulfilling. And then, yeah, I guess I'm just proud to be where I am. You know, I hope to say it in the most humble way, but I really am blessed to be where I am and who I am. I like to think I have a good head on my shoulders, you know, and it's taken a lot of work. And I'm proud of that. Ugh. I really am.
Well, we're proud of you too. We love you so much. Thank you so much for.
And I'm proud to be a part of this family.
Fuck yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The Coco Show
Y'all
family.
have been incredible to me. It's, you know, like I said, I moved to Seattle not long ago and I didn't know anyone. And the queer community can be, it's hard to find your in sometimes. But I definitely feel like we're building a little family here. I really do.
Fucking are.
Yeah, we fucking are. Ye fucking hot of that, y'all.
Ye fucking how.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end. Our next guest, we have Molly of Molly's Musings back.
Ooh. Yes.
And she's going to be in studio, and we're going to be talking about all things energy.
Hot.
And as always, you can find us on social at The Coco Show Pod or at thecocoshow.com and listen to all episodes and buy merch. Still waiting for one of you to formally email me your ye fucking huh to thecocosshowpod@gmail.com. And as always, we can and we will see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.